humans, and welcome to my channel. For those of you who are new, grab a snack, hit subscribe because we hang out every Monday and Friday. So for today's video, it's gonna be a culmination of several stories from when I was a child. I'm not gonna lie, I was a shitty little kid, and I feel really bad for my parents who had to raise me because I was stubborn, I was outspoken. If I didn't get my way, there would be hell to pay. Sorry, Mom and Dad. So I'm gonna be telling you 3 stories from when I was a child. The last one is one of my favorite, so stay tuned for that one. Let's get into it. So for the first story, this takes place back when I was about 4 or 5. And at this time in my life, my parents just divorced, and I was pretty upset about it. And I wasn't upset about it for the normal reasons that most children are upset about it for. I was upset because I really fucking wanted a brother or sister, and I knew that you needed to have a mommy and a daddy to have a baby, so they weren't together anymore, and therefore I was never gonna have a sibling. Which, by the way, yeah, it never happened. I never got a sibling. I had a right to be upset about it at the time. But anyways, my mom was very, very open with me when I was a child. Whenever I asked a question, she would give me the fucking straight answer to it. Like, where do babies come from? And she said, well, you need a mommy and a daddy love each other, and daddy has sperm, mommy has eggs, and then they have a baby. She didn't tell me how they had a baby. I actually thought that parents got pregnant by rubbing arms together, because both my mom and dad had like a little scar on their arm. So I thought the sperm left my dad's arm into my mom's arm where her eggs are, and then she got pregnant. That's what I thought. So I knew she needed sperm to have a baby. Alright, now we have the backstory. Let's get to the actual story. So one day my mom and I are going grocery shopping. We're at the local supermarket. So my mom's pushing the shopping cart and I'm wheeling my little baby wheelchair, and we're in the produce aisle. My mom's looking for, I don't know, like fucking produce. And this man comes up and starts obviously flirting with my mother. And my mom's not interested. She just wants to fucking get her groceries and leave. My mama didn't go to the grocery store to pick up men. She went to the grocery store to pick up fucking groceries. So she wasn't about that life. But me, being the fucking keener I was as a child, picked up on the fact that he's flirting with my mom, and I took advantage of that. So I wheeled on over to this man and I looked up at him and I said, oh my god, I can't believe I said this. Okay. Just picture this, 5-year-old Sarah, little blonde girl in a wheelchair. I looked up to the man and I said, do you got any sperm? Yeah, I asked this man who was flirting with my mom if he got any sperm. And my mom obviously was mortified by this experience. The guy laughed and he said, yeah, I do. And I followed up with that by saying, well, I want a brother or sister, so can you give my mom some sperm? That's when my mom decided to interject and separate the conversation, because like I said, my mom was not interested in this guy whatsoever. Now this man thinks he's got some sort of like in with my mom because, you know, her daughter's asking me for sperm. So clearly I have a chance with her. Yeah, so that happened. My mom kind of just laughed it off and pulled me away from him, and we went on with our grocery shopping ways. So after we were done grocery shopping, my mom paid for everything and we were headed out to our car. But guess who the fuck is parked right next to my mom's motherfucking car? You guessed it, Sperm Man. And so my mom again has this awkward encounter with this guy she just can't get away from. He just keeps popping up everywhere she fucking goes. So my mom's putting my wheelchair in the back of her car. This guy is talking up my mom again, even though she's clearly not interested, but you know, he's got sperm, so really, that's all she fucking needs, right? Yeah, so that's that story. I'm so sorry, Mom. Alright, so story number 2 is kind of a quick story. I was around the same age as the previous story. So I was around 5 or 6 years old. At that time, my mom was teaching me body parts, because when you're disabled, you have to know your body parts at a really, really young age. Because the doctors need you to be able to explain to them, like, if there's anything wrong and, you know, if everything's working well. So they teach you a lot younger about your body parts and what they do and whatever. Anyways, my mom was teaching me about private parts, about vaginas and subsequently penises, which, I mean, I didn't have, but we're already there, right? Might as well teach me about that too. And for whatever fucking reason, I really liked that subject. I wanted to learn more about it. Around that age, my mom was taking me to the library every now and then. So she's like, oh, okay, if you want to learn about private parts, we'll just go to the library and take out some books. I was fucking stoked. I was like, hell fucking yeah, I'm learning about penises and vaginas. I am so excited about this. And so we go to the library. We couldn't find any books about penises and vaginas. My mom said we should just ask the librarian. At this point, there was a lineup to the librarian, but mama don't stand in any line. So I used my crutches, because at that point I was walking with crutches, and so I strut myself down to the librarian, butting everybody in line, and I look up to the librarian and I ask, do you got any books on penises and vaginas? I want to let you know that I talk quite loudly, especially when I was a child. Every fucking person in line heard that I wanted books on penises and vaginas, and because the people in line were fucking humans, they laughed because here's this little girl asking about penises and vaginas. I didn't take too kindly to that. I was quite serious about this topic, and I looked at them and I said, it's not funny. I need books on penises and vaginas. I was genuinely upset that people were laughing. I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that people found this funny. This wasn't a laughing matter. I needed some books on penises and vaginas, and I needed it right fucking now. So there's that story. I believe I ended up getting the books. I don't know how to end that story. It's really one of my finer moments, I'd have to say. What can I say? I was a fucking scholar back then. Alright, and for the last story, this wasn't when I was a child. This was back when I was like 17 years old, but this is a story I've been wanting to tell for fucking ever. But it's too short to be a story time, and it doesn't really fit anywhere else, so I'm gonna fucking put it in this video. It was like the first few months that I was working at my job. I still work at a movie theater. So at that point, I was working at box office. I was working in the morning, and so the mornings are usually busy with families. The lineup was dwindling because the movies were getting in, but I had 2 more people left. The first person that I helped was this man with like an infant, a little boy, and I think he was on the verge of being potty trained. His father had a little bit too much faith in him when it comes to potty training, because as I was serving him, the little boy was tugging on his dad's pant legs, saying, "Pee-pee, daddy, pee-pee." And the dad would look down at him and say, "Yes, just 1 second, we'll go to the bathroom in just 1 second." So he's paying, and then all of a sudden, his fucking son pees all over the fucking floor. He just, like, and he won't stop peeing, and the dad's just looking at him like, there's nothing he can fucking do. You just gotta let him pee. The dad was looking at me like horrified, and he's like, "I'm so sorry." And I was like, "Oh no, it's okay, like it happens, whatever." I give him his tickets, and he picks up his son like this and like runs to the bathroom. But before I was able to call someone to mop it up, this is so fucking bad. So before I was able to call someone to mop it up, the next family steps forward, and it's a mother and her like 7-year-old daughter. The mother walks up, and the 7-year-old daughter kind of like runs up, but because there's pee all over the ground and she's running, she slipped in the pee and fell all in it. She just fell all over the pee. She was swimming in this little boy's pee all over the ground. And I was just looking at her like, oh no, oh my god. But like, what do I do at that point? She just fell, and she's kind of like squirming in this pee, and then her mom kind of helps her up. And I don't think the mom noticed that it was the little boy's pee, because she said, "Oh, just so you know, there's water all over here. You might want to put a sign." Yeah, lady, I'll get right to that. I'll get someone to mop up all that water, and I'll put a sign. And I never told her that it was pee, because I didn't know what to do. Like, okay, probably the good thing to do would be to tell the person that, oh yeah, your child just fucking swam in kid's pee, but I also didn't want to ruin her day. Because, I mean, okay, she thought it was water. Ignorance is bliss, right? If I told her it was pee, she would have been upset, and she probably wouldn't have seen the movie, and her day would have been ruined. But she just thought it was water. And you can fucking just take some paper towel and clean up water, like it's no big deal. But pee, you want to go home and change. It was all over her body, all in her hair. I've been wanting to tell that story for fucking ever, so there you have it. Let me know in the comment section below if I did the right thing by not telling her it was pee. Also, let me know what you would do if you were in my situation. Would you tell her? So, don't know how to end this video. Alright guys, so that's it for today. If you liked it, give it a big thumbs up and share it with your friends. So question of the day, I would like to know, what are your most embarrassing childhood stories? Or if you have any children, what are the most embarrassing stories that you have with your kids? Alright, and I quickly want to mention, for our 1,000 subscriber video, I'm doing a Q&A. If you guys want to ask me any questions about my personal life, or if you have any questions that you think I might know the answer to, let me know in the comment section below or tweet it at me. And as always, your comments will be featured in our next video. If you haven't subscribed already, I would love to see your faces next time. Bye! And then he'll stop. This happens every fucking time. They'll stop, they'll look at me, and then I'll just look up at them and be like, keep going. And they go, okay. At that age, my mom was taking me to like, at that age, my mom was taking me to, why can't I speak English, Sarah? Fucking English, okay.